Welcome to The Source, where we combine the headlines with in-depth conversations with the newsmakers themselves. I'm Pinky Webb. Today on the program, Senator Ping Lacson insinuates a denied request for 800 million pesos in campaign funds as a possible reason behind his former party dropping its support for his presidential bid. Other members follow Lacson's footsteps and resign from Partido Reporma, while leaders of Partido Reporma shift their support to the presidential bid of Vice President Leni Robredo, Partido Reporma President Pantaleon, Bebot Alvarez, and former party spokesman Ashley Ace Acedillo join us live. Senator Ping Lacson dares the leader of his former political party to reveal the real reason he shifted support to Vice President Leni Robredo. Lacson claims it was more about the issue of campaign expenses for Partido Reporma's local candidates, with the party asking for 800 million pesos in additional funding. Now let's go straight to the source of the story. We have former Partido Reporma spokesperson Ashley Ace Acedillo. Ashley, welcome to The Source, and thank you so much for your time. Let me start with this. So what is your position right now? Kasi former spokesperson ng Partido Reporma. Ano ho kayo ngayon?
I continue to function as the spokesman for Senator Ping Lacson in his bid for the presidency, Pinky.
Okay, so let's just start with this because there are two things in mind that refer to this shift from Senator Ping Lacson to Vice President Leni Robredo. One is the survey, and the other one that was later announced by Senator Ping Lacson, this 800 million pesos that was supposed to be campaign expenses for local candidates, to which Bebot Alvarez, the former speaker, had said it's actually for campaign expense doon po sa mga poll watchers, numbering about, I believe, 400,000, if I'm not mistaken, at 1,000 pesos each. But anyway, let's start with this. What really is the issue to your mind, to your group? Is it the survey? Is it 800 million pesos? Is it both?
Okay, let's discuss first the survey, Pinky. There are two ways of looking at the survey. One is that we may not believe, and this is across the board, no? The 5 candidates may not believe that those are exactly the numbers, whether you're talking about SWS or Pulse Asia survey, or let's take the numbers as they are. Now, which bring us to the issue now of the 800 billion pesos request.
Mm-hmm.
Sa survey kasi, kung titingnan mo, if we take it as they are, then the numbers really reflect the fact that all the 4 outside of the front runner are in the same boat. They are nowhere near the front runner, okay? Which begs the question, is it really now the 800 million? Kasi kung numbers ang titingnan mo, shouldn't the party that shouldn't the group that bolted the camp of Ping Lacson consider the front runner and not the second leading candidate who is actually far from the front runner, diba? So it further lends credence to the fact that it may have really been the issue of funds, Pinky.
But Ashley, did you even think for a second that there was a possibility that the former speaker would give his support or the party's support to BBM and Sara Duterte?
Well, I wouldn't speculate on that. No? Maybe that's a question best answered by them. But
yeah, but there's a lot of inner politics there
yes,
that makes it seem impossible that that could happen. So just going back to your earlier argument, bakit si VP Leni at hindi bakit yung nangunguna? I think you know the answer to that, right?
Exactly. So, kinonfirm naman na, di ba, yung request. As far as the request is concerned, whether it was for campaign expenses or for any other reason, at the very least, the camp of Speaker Bebot has already confirmed that there
Right.
was indeed such a request. As to the reasons for such a request, that's, of course, they will argue differently, as
Yes.
far as what Senator Ping Lacson saw it for what it was. However, tied up kasi yung second point about the funding with the first point, the claim being the numbers, no? If you talk about the numbers, it should point to the fact that they should go to the front runner. However, as you also pointed out, Pinky, hindi sila makakasilong doon.
Kaya nga.
And we don't know the reason.
So-
That's why they had to go to
Right.
the second one down the line.
Yeah.
So,
So-
that's my point.
Well,
actually, related pareho yung first and second point.
Yeah,
na
we can
binanggit
argue
mo.
about this, no? Because ako naman yung point ko talaga doon, which you understand, is it's impossible. Kasi your line of argument is, why not go to the front runner? Obviously, he will not go there because there are issues there to begin with. So he went to the second one. But I want to raise this point, Ashley, no? There was also a statement made by former Speaker Bebot Alvarez that I need to find it, pero parang sinasagot po yun yung punto na pangalawa lang si VP Leni na mas longer shot kasi. It's a long shot, something to this effect, not verbatim, but Senator Ping Lacson is a longer shot.
Okay. Sige, I'll consider that a fair point. No? And that is the second interpretation of the surveys that I mentioned. No? Which now brings us back to why Speaker Bebot supported Ping Lacson in the first place. If you remember, I don't know if you were able to remember that we need a leader movement that he was spearheading early on. No, that was one of the ways in which former Speaker Alvarez came out strongly to convince then a then retiring Senator Ping Lacson. You have to remember, by his own words, Ping Lacson was not even considering running for re-election as senator. No, however, among the many leaders who came out and sought him out was former Speaker Alvarez, and precisely, and it was on the vehicle of the "We Need a Leader," stating therein that for so many reasons, least of which are his competence, his integrity, as well as his courage, no, in all his public service. He came out strongly, and I'm referring to Speaker Bebot. He came out strongly to convince
Senator
Ping
Ping.
Lacson. And now that the sailing has been rough, he abandons the ship at its most crucial point of the journey. It has to come out with the bad taste, Pinky, and that's the point right now.
For
yes,
you
we
specifically,
understand.
for
Yeah,
you specifically, para po sa inyo specifically, how did you feel about this?
Well, ako personally, I mean, given my former party's history with this administration and Speaker Bebot, diba, if you remember, my former party was one of those who filed an impeachment in the House that was led then by Speaker Bebot. So imagine the kind of history I had with him, no, personally. So, but I did not let that deter me when we ended up being together in the camp of Senator Ping, and I respected him for the political leader that he is. But this latest episode in this rough and tumble of politics in the Philippines, Pinky, it does no good, actually, of my view of Speaker Bebot.
And what is your view of him?
Well, ang sa akin lang, if you make a commitment, panindigan mo. At pangalawa, and especially because Ping Lacson and I are former soldiers, no? If this were in combat or in a battle,
Hindi mo iiwan.
when you desert your fellow commander in a crucial point of the fight, that is fatal. So if that was the blow that he wanted to deliver to Ping Lacson, if he believed this was a fatal blow, then he may have underestimated Ping Lacson as a political leader, Pinky.
We'll be taking a short break. This is The Source on CNN Philippines. Please stay tuned. You're watching The Source on CNN Philippines. Our guest today, former Partido Reporma spokesperson Ashley Ace Acedillo. Ashley, I wanted to still follow up on this 800 million pesos. I guess it's interesting to find out. It's a huge amount. Maybe not too much for some people who are running a campaign. I mean, it could possibly be relative. But 800 million, to me, is a big amount. When Senator Ping Lacson took the position of chairman, were finances discussed? Were such amounts discussed that whether lagay na lang po natin local politicians or doon sa poll watchers, meron ho bang naging pag-uusap na ito gagastusin natin at sino ba ang magbibigay ng perang ito? Saan manggagaling?
Well, in all honesty, Pinky, I would defer answering that because I wasn't privy to those discussions early on. No? I came on board as spokesperson for the party a few months after Ping Lacson became the chairman of Partido Reporma. So I would defer answering that. Anyway, if Speaker Bebot is coming on board in the program, maybe I'm sure he would be privy to that discussion.
Okay.
No? But as to myself, I would defer answering that.
Okay, I want to shift to this now. What about the endorsement of the former speaker to Vice President Leni Robredo? Here's what I want to find out. As a former member of the party, who decides if there must be a shift in endorsement? I ask that because I want to lay the context. The founding chairman and the emeritus, Renato de Villa, was surprised with this move by Congressman Bebot, Alvarez. You have also the the chairman, who is Senator Ping Lacson. Siyempre, I guess, nagulat din siya. Pero yung pong Pangulo, si Congressman Bebot Alvarez, together with some people, shifted support. Balik ko lang po yung tanong ko, in a party like this, kanino ho ba may value kung pwedeng mag-shift ng endorsement o manatili sa original na candidate?
Not just in this party, Pinky, but in any party for that matter, it should be a collective decision. All parties, I believe, have a collective leadership. Therefore, any decision as major as this should have been a collective decision first. And second, it should have been the product of, let's say, several discussions. And probably a lengthy discussion at that. So the fact that this caught many by surprise, at the very least, both the chairman emeritus and the now former chairman, Ping Lacson, points to the fact that this was probably largely a unilateral decision. Again, I will leave the other side of the coin to your next guest after this. But Pinky, ang sa akin lang, the only silver lining that I see here, even former Speaker Alvarez admits, even during the time that he issued the statement of support for the next endorsee of the party, he admits still at that point that most qualified
is
and
Senator
the best
Ping.
candidate for president is still Ping Lacson. And we appreciate that, no? That is not lost on us, Pinky.
Sinabi naman po niya yon. Just as a last point I'd like to raise, because we also have the former speaker on the line. Please hold. Siguro let's just put him on hold for a couple of more minutes. No? Meron ho kasing mga lumipat. Stuck it out rather with presidential candidate Ping Lacson. Well, obviously, nandyan po kayo, yung Cavite, some executives and officials of the Cavite chapter. I think the last one was some executives and officials also of the Bohol chapter. Are you expecting any more loyalty siguro, more people to stand by presidential candidate Ping Lacson?
I believe so, Pinky. I don't mean that I don't want to interpret that as saying anything about the current party and its current leadership, but I would like to interpret it more on the point that this has something to do with probably their residual and long-standing support for Ping Lacson, no? Regardless of his party and regardless of the fact now that he is an independent candidate. And I'd just like to re-echo the sentiment of Ping Lacson. In his parting words to the party, he did wish them well, no? Their leadership and their families, and he'd like to focus more on the campaign. And maganda na rin na both parties, no, the remainder of Partido Reporma and those of us who joined Ping Lacson as an independent, na nakahinga na ng maluwag pareho. And I think that would be the second silver lining that I could bring up in this discussion.
Yeah. At sinabi ni presidential candidate Ping Lacson, sanay din naman daw siyang maging independent or mag-isa. He called himself some sort of a warrior in that regard. All right, former Partido Reporma spokesperson Ashley Ace Acedillo. Sir, thank you so much for your time.
Thank you, Pinky, and good morning to everyone.
We'll be taking a short break. Partido Reporma President Pantaleon, Bebot Alvarez joins us when we return. This is The Source on CNN Philippines. Please stay tuned. You're watching The Source on CNN Philippines. I'm Pinky Webb. Our source today, Partido Reporma President and Davao del Norte 1st District Representative Pantaleon Bebot Alvarez. Congressman, welcome to The Source. I know you're on the line. Maraming salamat po sa inyong oras. Sir, let me already begin. I was asking Ashley a while ago. I'm not sure if you heard parts of the interview, but I really started by asking about this 800 million pesos, that revelation made by Senator Ping Lacson, that your chief of staff had asked 800 million pesos, to which Lacson refused to give. Dadagdagan ko na po in your statement. Tama ho ba that you confirmed that there was such a thing as 800 million pesos, pero how you computed this was about poll watchers numbering about 400,000 at 1,000 pesos each, which more or less amounts to 800 million. Tama ho ba yun, Congressman?
Partly tama yun, Pinky, no? I made a clarification with my chief of staff at sinabi niya sa akin, there were series of communications between him and the office of Senator Lacson. Dahil nga, siyempre may mga tao tayong nagtatrabaho sa ground. Tapos humingi sila ng computation para ma-check nila. So nag-email nga siya ng ganung amount. And partly, siyempre, kung partido yan, in every election, normal naman na yung partido talaga naglalagay ng poll watchers kahit nung araw pa. So, ngayon, yung poll watchers, talaga per precinct yun, normally dalawa yun, standard. Dahil nga 24-hour yung shift, 2 shifts yan. Mag-duty ng 24 hours, tapos may meal allowance pa yan, kakain din kasi.
So, it's a confirmation nga, a congressman, that yung sinasabing 800 million pesos ay for 400,000 poll watchers na nagdadalawang shift, basically, at 1,000 pesos each. So that is confirmed. Okay. My next question is, sir, please educate me or let me understand the situation like this. Pag ganito ho ba kalaking pera ang pinag-uusapan, kailan ho ba si Chief of Staff pa ang pupunta doon sa, let's say, Senator Ping Lacson? Or hindi ho ba dapat ang usapan doon na sa mga matataas? For example, you and him, diretso.
Ganito kasi yan, Pinky, no? Kasi hindi naman kami directly talagang nag-aasikaso niyan. May mga staff naman kami. Tapos sila muna, di ba, tapos di-decision na lang kung approve yung amount o hindi. Diba? Kung yung expenses ba ay justified, ganyan.
So, it really goes down sa mga chief of staffs first, sir, bago po sa inyo. Yun po sinasabi niya.
Opo, tama po yun.
That's normal. That's a regular way of asking for money or estimating an expense?
Kasi lahat yung Pinky, yung mga expenses sa campaign, nililiquidate talaga yan
Opo.
sa ground. Opo.
Opo. Okay.
Ngayon, yung approval ng amount, syempre kung may pera o wala, doon sa ano yun, sa aming kagaya nito, no, dahil since si Senator Ping kandidato, siya talaga mag-a-approve nun.
Siya ang mag-a-approve, sir. Pero who is supposed to provide the money?
Ah, dito dapat partido, kaya lang sadly wala namang ganong kalaking pera yung partido, no? At normal naman sa mga politiko pagka ikaw kumakandidato, talagang dito sa local, ako talaga yung ako yung nagpo-provide pag ako yung kumakandidato.
Pero yung sinasabi ho kasing budget na 800 million pesos, ang sinabi po ni Senator Ping, honestly, I told him I cannot produce that. So, I just want to clarify. Ito ho bang 800 million was supposed to be provided for by the chairman who was the presidential aspirant of Partido Reporma Ping Lacson? Sa kanya ho ba dapat manggagaling tong 800 million pesos? Is he the one who's supposed to provide this amount?
Ideally,
Okay.
yung partido. Kanya lang, since wala namang ganong kalaking pera yung partido, ikaw yung kandidato, I think siguro mas sabihin kong sana ma-provide ng kandidato yan.
Okay. When presidential aspirant Ping Lacson joined the Partido Reporma, sir, were finances, money, napag-usapan ho ba ito? Were they discussed na, you've been in politics a long time, even Senator Ping Lacson, pero nung nagsama ho kayo, napag-usapan niyo ho ba na siguro ganito kadaming pera kailangan natin? I ask that, sir, kasi ang susunod ko sana ng tanong, baka ho nabigla siya dun sa 800 million pesos, hindi kaya?
Hindi na pag-usapan yan, pero naman, Pinky, I think pag politiko ka, kumakandidato ka, alam mo talaga may mga expenses yan, lalong-lalo na kung presidente yung tinatakbuhan.
But did that fall on him to be able to raise this amount? Siya ho ba dapat ang kumalap nito at mag-disburse nito o magbigay nito or to cough up the money, basically?
Sana.
And is it because he is the presidential candidate or is it because he's the chairman of the party? What is it, sir?
Because he's the candidate.
Because he's the candidate.
Yes.
Okay. So, para po sa inyo, hindi naman siguro nagkabiglaan kasi alam nyo naman ho talaga more or less how much he would spend for a presidential run.
Yes.
Okay. Now, they question this, sir. Yung mga pre-election survey that sinasabi po nila that he doesn't, number 2 ho kasi si VP Leni. Sabi nga ni Ashley kanina, nandun naman si Pacquiao, si Isko, andun din po si Senator Ping. Although I did tell him a quote that I saw na sinabi mo, VP Leni is a long shot, but Senator Ping basically is a longer shot. You said that right, sir, right?
Ang sinabi ko lang, Pinky, na of all the other candidates, aside from BBM, ang nag-gain traction ngayon sa ground, si VP Leni.
Yes, and?
Saka ramdam na ramdam talaga yan dahil kami dito sa probinsya, kita namin yon na siya lang talaga yung nag-gain ng traction.
Apo. Your reaction though, sir, doon sa ilang mga officials and executives who stuck it by Senator Ping Lacson, meron pong Bohol chapter, meron pong Cavite chapter.
Opo.
What is your reaction to that? That they're staying with their presidential candidate, Ping Lacson?
Well, personal decision nila yon dahil kami naman, Pinky, malinaw naman na yung aming endorsement ay nanggagaling lamang sa probinsya ng Davao del Norte. Dahil kung partido ang pinag-uusapan, hindi kami nagtawag ng national convention. Kaya impossible na
I see.
party decision.
So sabi nga ni Ashley, sir, kanina, I think he used the word unilateral. Kasi tinatanong ko po, meron po yung founding chairman and chairman emeritus Renato De Villa. Nagulat po dun sa inyong ginawa. Senator Ping Lacson obviously also resigned hours before you gave your support to Vice President Leni Robredo. Yun nga po so kayo-kayo na lang po ba? Tama ho ba ang nagdesisyon nito? A small group of Partido Reporma?
Yes, a small group no dito sa Davao del Norte.
I see. And when you say small, ilan ho kayo?
Yung lahat ng ng local candidates namin dito.
And does that represent Partido Reporma, sir? The local officials of Davao del Norte?
No. Davao del Norte lang yan.
Opo. Okay. Balikan ko lang po yung 800 million very quickly before I move on to my last question. So, sinasabi niyo nga po kailangan ito para sa kampanya si 800 million pesos, poll watchers, and other expenses, sir. How is that? Is this something that you're going to ask from the group of Vice President Leni Robredo? Because
No,
the spokesperson
no.
is already saying they don't have that money.
No. Hindi naman siya member ng partido eh. Oo.
So how do you pay the poll watchers now?
Wala nang poll watchers. Locally, dito sa amin, I can provide that.
Kayo-kayo na lang dyan.
Oo, kami lang. Sanay naman kami na kami lang dito eh.
Aha. So, hindi na po kasi national ang scope na kakailanganin yung ganong kalaking pera.
Hindi na. Oo.
Okay. Very quickly, sir, there was a story that Pacquiao was saying that posible ho bang mag-shift pa kayo ng suporta sa ibang kandidato? Maybe Senator Manny Pacquiao. Sabi niya, kasi pareho naman kayong taga Mindanao, sino pa ba daw magtutulungan?
Hindi dahil nakapagbigay na ako ng suporta kay VP Leni.
Yeah, but you also gave your support before to Senator Ping Lacson.
Oo, pero ito ngayon talagang kami lahat dito ay buo na yung loob talaga na ipapanalo si VP Leni.
Wala na pong mangyayaring any other endorsement after this?
Wala na.
Very quickly, sir, what about si Tito Sen? Hindi ho ba you still wanted to endorse him? Has there been any talk with the vice presidential candidate, sir?
Wala pa, pero hindi nagbago yung aming suporta kay Tito Sen.
Siya pa rin ang vice president
Siya
niya.
pa rin.
Okay, maraming salamat po, Partido Reporma President Congressman Bebot Alvarez. Thank you, sir.
Maraming salamat.
Thank you, and thank you for joining us here on The Source. I'm Pinky Webb. You're watching CNN Philippines.